Hello and welcome to Mangatory 96, and today we're going to talk about that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Today's topic will be the two women who share many similarities, from their personality that is cold and stoic, their powers that could even kill Rimuru, with one being a saint and the other one being a hero. I'm of course talking about Hinata Sakaguchi and Chloe Aubert. But before we start, here's the spoiler warning, as I will spoil a lot of things in this video. So if you don't want to be spoiled, I would highly recommend that you're going to read the light novel, as it is an enjoyable read. For everyone else, let's start with who Hinata is. Hinata Sakaguchi is the leader of the Western Holy Church's 10 Great Saints, as well as a Japanese Otherworlder. She is second only to the Holy Emperor in the authority within the church. She is a cold pragmatist who doesn't shy away from cooperating with anyone as long as it benefits mankind as a whole, even cooperating willingly with demon lords, even though the Western Holy Church believes in killing all monsters. She is willing to give anyone who asks her advice, but if that advice is ignored, then she won't bother repeating herself. She is extremely stubborn and refuses to compromise with others unless ordered to by Luminous. Within the church, she is an extremely harsh but powerful and efficient leader who single-handedly reformed the Crusaders into a much more efficient and streamlined version of itself within 2 years of her rise to power. She also established the 10 Great Saints, a group of formidable knights that stood against the 10 Great Demon Lords in public view. Hinata holds Shizue in high regard due to her being the one who trained her and showed her what genuine kindness was for the first time. After learning of her death, Hinata set out to kill Rimuru because of his involvement in it, even going as far as to tell him that she will destroy Rimuru City personally. Despite being headstrong and stubborn, she is willing to admit and make amends for her own fault once she realizes it. In Light Novel Volume 7, she realizes her mistake upon seeing how friendly the Jura Tempest Federation is to humans while traveling to Rimuru City, and thus makes up her mind to apologize and negotiate with Rimuru. Her biggest dream is to create a world where humanity can live happily in peace with an ignorant society without conflicts or quarreling. Therefore, she'll do anything that can make that dream come true. As for her past, Hinata's father was a gambling addict. Eventually, her father racked up a massive debt from gambling on horse races when Hinata was just a child, which made her decide to murder him for life insurance. Hinata's mother suffered an emotional breakdown upon witnessing this murder by her daughter's hand, causing Hinata to plan to kill her as well and thus orphan herself. Just before that could happen, she was whisked away by a strong gale to the other world when she was just 15 years old. Upon arrival, she was attacked by 3 bandits. She ended up gaining 2 unique skills and managed to kill all 3 bandits. Not long after her arrival in the new world, Shizue Izawa took her in as a disciple. Hinata claims that Shizue was the only person who had been kind to her during her early years in the new world. Within a month, Hinata had surpassed Shizue in strength after copying multiple of her skills using Aubert. Fearing her own attachment, Hinata went on her own way and eventually became the most powerful knight in the Holy Emperor Uruberus, as well as the leader of the 10 Great Saints. At one point, she discovered that the Western Holy Church was under the control of vampires and was conspired with the Demon Lord Valentine, which was actually Roy. She defeated both Roy and Louis, suffering fatal injuries during the process. However, she was then confronted by the real Demon Lord, ruler of the night, Luminous Valentine herself, who promptly revived both her fallen subordinates and Hinata herself. After some negotiations, Hinata passed the trial of the 7 Luminaries and earned the right to challenge Luminous, but was promptly defeated. She then agreed to become Luminous' subordinate, as she deemed that the Demon Lord's governing method to be acceptable in the long run. Nonetheless, she keeps honing her abilities in case she ever needs to fight the Vampire Princess again. As for her abilities, in her base stage as a saint in transition, Hinata is already stronger than any average Demon Lord Seed. However, after equipping the holy armaments, she temporarily turns into a complete saint and became powerful enough to even match a true Demon Lord like Rimuru. She is the most powerful person in all of the church save for the Demon Lord Valentine herself, whom Hinata was defeated too by in the past. She is also a highly skilled swordswoman and a master of the art of the sword, hardened by non-stop combat. Her weapon of choice is a rapier. Hinata's swordsmanship is described to be very excellent, not fancy, and can control her sword at will. She also can combine her sword art with spirit magic or holy magic. Her skill with a sword noted to be comparable to the sword saint like King Gazel Dwargo and Hakuro, and above that of Demon Lord Rimuru. As for her relationship with Rimuru, at first she loathed Rimuru for the simple fact that he was a monster and his existence went against the teaching of the church, while also being fooled by the Eastern Empire merchants into believing that he had killed Shizu. Rimuru was wary of Hinata after learning about her, but also desired to meet her because she was Shizu's student. She tried to ambush and kill Rimuru, but failed when he faked his death in their fight. Even after learning the fact that Rimuru not only survived but was telling the truth to her about being a reincarnated Outerworlder who did not murder Shizue. She regretted the situation where she neither managed to build good relations nor eliminate the threat, but instead had given a bad first impression to Rimuru, who survived and became much stronger. During their second battle, it was revealed that their conflict were all orchestrated by the Western Holy Church's 7 luminaries and the string pullers of the Eastern merchants that sold Hinata's false information. After the battle ended and the 3 out of the 7 luminaries tried to make use of Rimuru's and Hinata's exhaustion to get rid of both of them, Hinata took an attack meant for Rimuru. Rimuru was able to block all of the follow-up attacks and was about to counterattack when Hinata's boss, the Demon Lord Luminous Valentine, appeared, and after some negotiation there was finally peace between Rimuru and Hinata. When Hinata blocked an attack aimed at Chloe with her body, it triggered the activation of Chloe's Time Child skill, which pulled Hinata's soul into Chloe's body, who then traveled 2000 years into the past. During this time, Chloe talked a lot about Rimuru, causing Hinata to also develop feelings for him. As for her relationship with Veldora, Hinata first met the Storm Dragon in person during a trip to Tempest. While facing the trials of Ramiri's Labyrinth, the Saint managed to reach the bottom level where she confronted Veldora, but was unable to defeat him. Despite her decisive loss, the two would fight again after Hinata's soul was fused with Chloe's and sent into the past. Indeed, Hinata was in control of Chloe's body when the hero defeated Veldora and sealed him inside the cave where the true dragon would encounter Rimuru many centuries later. Upon returning to the present, Hinata and Chloe recounted the events of their time-traveling expedition. Veldora realized with shock the true nature of the hero who defeated him. She taunts him with her victory, nearly resulting in a rematch, but the situation is defused by Rimuru. So far, Veldora is the only person whom Hinata expresses a petty and competitive nature. As of now, both have defeated the other a single time, thus their score remains unsettled. Moving on to Chloe. Chloe Aubert is a summoned Otherworlder and a student of the Freedom Academy. Chloe is an introverted girl who likes to pass her time reading picture books or manga. While she appears rather cold and stoic most of the time, appearing brutal and merciless even, she can also be very emotional at times. As for her past, Chloe had been summoned by one of the Western nations, but because she couldn't manifest a unique skill as a child, she was doomed to die like many other summoned children due to the overflow of the energy that failed to form a unique skill. That's why, despite having a very high amount of innate magical for a human, she was sent to the Freedom Academy due to her low life expectancy. In the Academy S class alongside Kenya, Ryota, Gale and Alice, she and her classmates were first taught by Shizue, who tried to find a solution to her and her classmates' issue of certain death. After Shizue went on a journey, Chloe and her classmates were assigned other teachers, but the class rejected them all, and as a consequence, the class came to be known as troublemakers. Over a year later, Rimuru became the teacher of the class, and he eventually brought the class to the dwelling of the spirits to fix the issue with the overflowing energy of the children. While the other children got united with greater elementals, Chloe got united with an unknown spiritual body from the future instead, which turned out to be herself from the future. As a result, Chloe gained some memories of herself from the other timeline. In addition, her state of overflowing energy got fixed like with her classmates, and they were no longer in mortal danger. When Rimuru returned home, Chloe held back her emotions and let him go without raising a fuss. He left and the anti-magic mask and gave her and her classmates new clothes sewn by Shuna before returning to Tempest. Sometime later, Chloe and her classmates got invited to Tempest Founding Festival where they enjoyed themselves. As for her abilities, Chloe's alter ego formed from her trauma and memories. After being named by Hinata, she was able to fully form her own ego, and after the assistance of Rimuru, she was able to become an information particle life form Manas. She supports Chloe's abilities in battle similar to the relationship between Rimuru and Raphael. As for her relationship with Rimuru, one of the children that was entrusted by Shizo to Rimuru and later became one of Rimuru's first students. Initially, just like the rest of the children, Chloe was very wary of him. However, as Rimuru made efforts to become closer to them and teach them properly, all of them became close and respect Rimuru greatly, calling him sensei. Among those children, Chloe became the one with the most affection towards him as she falls in love with him, even declaring she loves him, though Rimuru didn't take that seriously initially, but cares for her greatly, even stating he wished she said that to him if she was 18 or 20 years older from now. As time passes, their bonds continue to grow. Later on, she also constantly competes with Shuna, Milim and Shion about who gets to be his first wife. With this, I covered everything that I wanted to cover on Hinata and Chloe. And that'll be all for this video. If you like this video, leave a like, leave your thoughts in the comments below, or subscribe to the channel for more manga reviews and One Piece content. And until next time, take care.